Broadcasting from the beautiful Hill Country in Texas, this is OneRadioNetwork.com.
Well, very pleasant good morning to you. This is Patrick Timpone, running a little bit of late here. We got some geeky things going on, tech stuff between David and I, but we're out, it's all coming out in the wash. We're live here on 20 December 2022, OneRadioNetwork.com. About 90 minutes from now, we're going to talk to a lady by the name of Laura Arica. And this her work ties into something that we talk often about, that whatever we believe and think to be true, our state of consciousness, right, is in our body. And this is the way it works. We've seen this on the inner planes, and it just is. If you believe in a germ, then the germ can get you. It's no more difficult than that. And then so she's on to words and where they came from and how much energy is with them. And it's really interesting because it even plays more into the work that we're doing, our theories and our experiences, that when we believe a certain word, whatever it is, maybe the word age, right, or the word virus, these words go very deep, and they've been around for a long, long time, and they affect us even more than we've ever thought. Pretty cool stuff. So you've heard of neuro-linguistic programming. This takes that to another level. So we're going to do that in a little while, and then we're taking some time off for happy holy days or holidays or merry whatever, and then we'll tell you more about that. But this morning we're going to have some fun. We're going to visit with Flat Earth Dave. Flat Earth Dave believes he believes that we're on an immovable plane, and we're not circling around the sun. I mean, this is what he does for a living. He does all these different interviews, and he's done all this research, and his website is flatearthdave.com. And we have lots to talk about this morning. We're going to go to him now. So you're not spinning, you're not hurtling around the sun, Dave. So you're just there. Mm.
Yeah. First, I want to say that looking forward to your next interview, because actually I'm very much into that. And I'm actually, right after this, I have a Zoom call with somebody that specializes in decoding the language of our world. So I am a big, I don't even want to say believer, because belief is the enemy of knowing, that words create our reality. Your thoughts create your reality.
Yes, sir.
And that's what this whole globe lie is about. It's to hide that truth from you. As far as health, every dis-ease, you're not at ease. Every dis-ease that you have is incurable. Did you know that?
Oh, you mean they say it's incurable?
No, it is incurable. Incurable means you can cure it within. Your mind can cure it.
Oh, that's where the word comes from.
We don't have, so when a doctor says, oh, you've got so-and-so and it's incurable, you should say, oh, thank you. I don't have to come to you anymore. Thank God. And then you leave and you deal with it that way. We don't have an immune system. We have a constant regenerating, cleansing health system. Okay. We're not fighting off fictional bug, viruses. That's all nonsense. I mean, people don't realize they took like the most horrible diseases, smallpox, whatever. And they got these people that were sick, and they disgusting, took blood, took pus, took spit, took everything. They wiped it on people. They shoved it up their noses. They injected into their bloodstream. Never once were they able to make the other person sick.
Never once. Spanish flu, I think, actually did the experiments today.
Yeah,
Spanish flu.
That's all. That Spanish flu is basically what happened. And I don't want to say it because I'm putting this on YouTube. What happened in 2020 back then. It's the same story, the same cycle again and again and again and again. This is what they want you to think is happening. Woo, you're spinning, flying through space. It's absolute insanity. Okay? That's what they want you to believe.
I'm going to write that word down, incurable, and bring it up for her, this lady, because that's I never thought about it like that. Incurable, of course. So obvious. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So something I've been thinking about that I find fascinating is that when, this common question, why does it matter? Of course, and you've had it ever since you started with people. Why does this matter? So I've been thinking about this idea that when you encapsulate something with an edge, right, a globe, and has an edge, then that means there's a limit, right? Because if there's an edge, you can't go beyond the edge. I mean, you know, that means there's a limit with resources, rare earth minerals, oil, water, food, gold, silver, a limited amount of people that can be here. So this globalist heliocentric model is running a lot of their agenda, right? Because the Green New Deal is all about, well, we don't have enough energy, so we're going to do it. You know what I mean?
Think about this. Don't drive your car. Don't do this. You have carbon credits. You have to, they're trying to stop us from doing everything. They would rather us die than produce more carbon or hurt the environment, and I'm all for, hey, we should take care of the environment. But all the stuff they're saying is nonsense. Think about this, Patrick. What counteracts carbon and produces oxygen? Trees, right? Plants, green life. And so nobody can go to Antarctica where there's supposedly no green life, but we can cut down the Amazon for whatever resources. Okay, that's fine. That's crazy. And we're all worried about carbon. But if global warming was true because of what they're saying, then it would be illegal for every year at this time of the year for hundreds of millions of trees to be cut down so people can decorate them. Okay? Think about the carbon footprint of that. We're cutting down oxygen makers, carbon eaters. We're trucking them across the country for everyone to put in their homes. So the fuel, all of the carbon footprint of the Christmas tree ritual should be illegal if they were serious. How about that?
I understand. Yeah.
How about that? All right. So
it's yeah. So what do you think that what I was conjecturing there are just about the food and the limits, and that's all part of this heliocentric model as well?
Say that again. What did you say?
The idea that if you encircle it something with an edge and there's only so much to go around, that really plays into everything that's going on. Am I onto something there? I'm sure you've talked about it. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Antarctica, and I'll wrap all of that together. People say, well, why would they lie about the flat Earth? I say, why did they lie about the globe? Because everything that would prove the globe, they have to lie about. Like, hey, let's circumnavigate across Antarctica. Let's go from Santiago, Chile, across Antarctica and end up in Australia or New Zealand. And it's never been done. And that one guy claimed to do it. Sir Ranoff, some royal guy who has been caught and I think prosecuted for faking expeditions, for faking injuries on expeditions, right? So this one guy with zero proof and a record of lying about expeditions is the only guy that crossed over the South Pole. So insanity. So look at this. We live in the Antarctic basin. Antarctica is not a continent at the bottom of the ball. It's the shoreline around our world, okay?
That's the ice wall that we see.
Well,
right?
the ice wall. And you know what? I don't know if the ice wall goes all the way around. I'm going to show you that in a moment. Okay.
Oh.
But let's say, our sun circles around here, so it's melted out our pond, and it's cold out here, and we don't know what's out here in the outer space. We want the right to go out there and explore, unfeathered, whatever. Fettered, unfettered. Okay.
Unfettered.
Yeah, unfettered. All right. So think about this. If you knew that there's more land, that there's a possibility of more land, your thoughts, remember, we're just talking about thoughts, your thoughts are expanding. But how do we limit your thoughts? Well, we put you in indoctrination school, and then, we make you become a worker slave to pay off your college debt. And we'll get into that in a moment. Right. So check this out. If I cut out right outside, just a couple thousand miles of Antarctica and just cut it out and I wrapped it around a sphere, okay? What is that? This is a prison for your mind, okay? If you believe you live here, that's it. That's it. There's nothing else. Remember in the Truman Show? I want to be an explorer. And she goes, well, Truman, pulls down the map. She goes, everything's been discovered. Okay.
You can't go.
They don't want you to know that there's more. There's more outside of Antarctica. So here's the thing, Patrick, we're not allowed to go to Antarctica. Okay. We're not allowed to go to Antarctica. So
there was a treaty, what, the UN thing. You know, what year was that? Just for folks.
1959, the
59.
UN treaty. Yeah, the not the UN treaty, the Antarctic Treaty said that, you know, nobody can go to Antarctica. I'm looking for it. Yeah, in 1959, they, you know, after Admiral Byrd went out there, said, "Oh, there's more land, there's resources, there's everything."
Mm-hmm.
All of the nations in the world eventually signed the treaty that said nobody can go there. No one can go unfettered to Antarctica. You can take a little expensive trip to the island off of Santiago. You know what the island's called? Deception Island. It's next to Rothschild Island too. Yeah. And they'll take you there. They'll show you ice. They'll show you penguins. You're not allowed to go and explore the outer lands. Why is that? Why are they hiding the outer lands? Okay. And the answer is because they don't want you to know that you don't live on a ball. Right. So here's something that you can do. This is Google Earth. Okay. On your computer, the web version of Google Earth. Now, Google Earth has a little measuring tool. And you could say, all right, what's the square miles of America? And you draw a line around it. It's like, oh, there it is, you know, and oh, look, it's curved. Yeah, it shows you a curve. Mm-hmm. So we can go down, we can do that basically anywhere. So let's go to Australia, and we'll go around and we'll say, okay, what's the square mileage of Australia? And that'll show you, boom, there's Australia. No, less of a curve out there. That's interesting. But what happens when we try to circle Antarctica? Like, hey, how big is Antarctica? Right? So we go around and we click it, and what happens? What the heck is that? Okay.
I don't know.
Look at that. Look at that.
What is it?
That did you see what it did?
It freaked out. Yeah.
It freaked out. Okay. So, well, where else does that happen? So let's go, we'll go up to the north a little bit. Oh no, I'm doing New Zealand. Is that New Zealand? Yeah. And it's showing me, okay, it's showing me the square area of that area, right? And then we go up to the north, another place that would tell us that the Earth is a globe. And first I'm trying Greenland. Let's make sure that works. And it gives me the square mileage of Greenland. Great, perfect, no problem. And then when we try to go to the North Pole, and we go around there, here we go. And boom, weird. What's going on? They're hiding the north and the south. Now, I'm a little surprised that Google Earth can't figure out a way to fake it.
They can't fake that thing.
They can't fake that. Look at that. Look at that weird thing.
Interesting.
But Antarctica,
do we know what that means when your little mouse does that thing?
It means that they don't want you to measure it. That's what it means.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
I see. Yeah.
So look, I'm going to try just a piece of Antarctica, and look what it does. It just absolutely freaks out, gives you useless information. Right. So that's interesting.
Is Antarctica, as we understand it, Dave, is it a big island or a big, like a country?
No. Well, they want us to they want you to say, this is Antarctica. Okay. It's a continent at the bottom of the ball. I showed you in that animation where we took just a trim of the shoreline. You know, you get a big piece of paper and draw a border around it and then wrap it around the ball. Well, all of that border will create the continent Antarctica, right? You get a piece of paper that can wrap around a ball. You crumple it all down, and they could show us what's along the line, along the edge. For example, here are all of the bases that they have in Antarctica. Well, people are, what about the bases? Yeah, here they are. One here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. Right? But here's the thing: nobody goes from this base, the Scott Amundsen base, and says, "Hey, people at this base or this base, meet us in the middle at the South Pole." Okay. No one ever does that because you can't, because it's too far away. Okay. They're not right there across the continent. They're across the entire Earth pond. Right. So this is something.
Oh, that's it. You're going across the entire
world
Earth.
and
the world. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Flights from Santiago to Australia prove that. Right. We've gone into that, but we'll get into that again.
Sure.
But this is something I want to show you that I don't think you've seen yet. Where is it? What is going on here? Why isn't that showing? Okay. That's boom. Boom. Okay. There we go. All right. So this is a map that was found in a Buddhist monk temple. I believe it was published in the Hawaiian Gazette in 1910 or somewhere around there. Interesting. Okay. You have all of these continents out here. So here's our world. This outer line is about, where Antarctica would start on a flat Earth map. This is a flat Earth map. And maybe everything outside of this line is frozen, or maybe it's not. Okay. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like frozen for a bit and then it gets warm again. Maybe let's pretend half of this piece of land, this continent, this isn't an island because it's twice the size of United States and Canada and Mexico combined. Okay, this is gigantic. This is massive.
So one of those little islands there are as much as United States and Canada?
Well, here's United States and Canada and Mexico right here. You see it?
Oh yeah.
That compare it to this. This is about 2 or 3 times the size. Okay, so if you went from here on a long boat ride and you landed here, what would you know? Hey, you're in Antarctica. Okay, and you could even explore and go. Like let's say you went across and then they picked you up and then they flew you back. You would never know that you didn't cross Antarctica. But the problem is no one ever goes from here, crosses Antarctica, and then ends up over in Australia. Never happens. Too far of a distance. All right.
Well, my understanding is that the North Pole or the North Pole is right in the center of the map, correct?
Yep.
North.
Correct.
Okay. So then anywhere you go from there, you are going south.
Correct.
So if you keep going right, then you're gonna eventually get to a place where there's more sun and warmer, right?
You're heading out towards the tropics, right?
Right.
You're heading out towards the tropics. So
the tropics that we've never been to.
No, our tropics. So
right, but if we go past the wall,
past the tropics, it gets colder again. But then out here, we don't know what's out here. There could be other suns out here. There could be suns circling around our north, or there could be other ponds out here that have their own circling sun and their own magnetic north. Again, anything beyond the shoreline of Antarctica is speculation. I am speculating, but more and more evidence keeps showing up that this is the way it is. Like every ancient religion, every ancient culture believed in a flat, non-rotating earth. Right? The Bible is if you want to talk about religion, the Bible is a flat earth book, right? And there's stories from the 1800s of people that went beyond Antarctica and found other lands, other advanced worlds with technology, flat screens and floating cars and, silent machines and all sorts of stuff, right? Whether that's true or not, they were talking about land beyond Antarctica in the late 1800s, okay?
1800s, yeah.
Yeah, so what's going on? So this is something I want to get to. Hold on. You're going to like this.
Okay.
So you can go online and look up, cargo ship world tracker, and you can find out all of these. These are all of the cargo ships of the world, and you can click on them. It tells you where they're from, how big the boat is, what they're carrying. I think, just tons of information, tons and tons and tons of information. But we noticed there's some ships that are hundreds and hundreds of miles inside of the shoreline of Antarctica that's supposed to be land or ice, at least, but there's ships. Like, how does an active ship get there? So we clicked on it, and what did we find? We found that zero information, very little information. We found the ship was 560 meters. That's almost 2,000 feet. Okay, this is 80 meters wide. This is a gigantic ship, a massive ship. Hundreds of miles inside of Antarctica. Okay. So what if the ships were just shipping lanes to these outer worlds? Okay. So we found out where that ship was from. It's from Kiribati. You know what Kiribati is?
No, I don't.
Never heard of it. Kiribati. Hold on. Whoops. Let me just go back here for a second. Move that. Okay. So Kiribati.
All your gadgets, man.
Kiribati. Whoops. That's not what I want to do. Transition. All right. So Kiribati is a little atoll out in the middle of the Pacific. Okay. So we'll zoom in on Kiribati, and here it's out here, middle of nowhere. Okay. That's a pin. You don't even see it yet. Zooming in. Okay. This little sand island. Okay. There's sand people that live here. All right. But the Chinese government is highly involved with this country. I think they gave them $10 billion recently. And there's some weird towns, London, Poland, okay? And there's a giant pier. Somebody said they just zoomed in and found that can hold it.
You
That
froze
ship,
up you froze up and okay. So
am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
That ship could carry enough supplies to supply this island for decades. Okay, everything they could possibly need. So what is that giant ship going from Kiribati and heading south? Where's it going? Okay, right? So if there was a shipping lane, going from Kiribati out to these outer lands, how would you ever know about it? How would you ever know about it? You never even heard of Kiribati.
No, but Dave, if the ice walls are theoretically holding in the oceans, how could you have an opening so you could go through it? Wouldn't that just be a mess? I don't understand that.
Well, I don't believe that if there's an opening, that means the pond is bigger. Maybe the entire plane is a pond. Yes. And then there's frozen sections of the pond with melted out puddles. Okay. So what if the world is, I have, let me see if this is.
Yeah, because you just wouldn't know if they don't let you go there and look. You just don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah. You don't. Wow.
Where is it? Why am I not sure? Oh, okay. What if the world was set up like this? Here we are. Here's our melted pond. Here's a piece of Antarctica. And what if there was another pond over here that kind of connected to our pond? Maybe this is something they call the summer gate that only opens up certain times of the year or certain times of a great year. Okay. And then we have access. What if there was, trade going on between other worlds? How would we ever know? How would we ever know? Technology, these are the true extraterrestrials. Where are they coming from? The extraterra in the outer space.
You think that's where the word comes from? Extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial. I'm going to talk to your person about it. Extraterra, more land. Yeah. Extraterra. Okay. And they want you to believe that they're coming from
space.
From outer space at trillions and trillions of miles. I don't believe a trillion miles exists. I don't think it's even a thing, right? If you were traveling a mile per second, I said this to you before, for 1 trillion seconds, you've gone 1 trillion miles. Mile per second, trillion seconds, 1 trillion miles. Do you know how long 1 trillion seconds is? I told you probably in the past. You remember? Take a guess. Take a guess. How long is 1 trillion seconds? Take a guess. If you guess it within a week, I'll give you a Bitcoin.
5,000 years.
Very close. 31,000 years. Okay.
Ooh. Wow.
It wasn't that close, but it was closer than most people. Most people go like 2 years, 3 years. So just let that sink in. 31,000 years is 1 trillion seconds. Now convert that into miles and time and distance. Get out of here. Just go home. Just leave. Leave. If you think that we can travel, that aliens come from. If they were lucky enough to come from the closest star, 25 trillion miles away. So it would take you 31,000 years times 25 years to get, times 25. So 31,000 times 25, that number of years to get here at a mile per second. Even if you're going, they go much faster than that, Dave. Okay, let's go 100,000 miles an hour, which is a speed that nobody can even comprehend. It would take 28,000 years. And then they come and crash in Roswell. Okay, they weren't making fun of you. They're laughing at us. They're laughing at us, right? They're laughing at us.
Just the idea that there's so much potential resources, that's enough to make one think about what's going on, right? Because this whole thing is about resources, right?
Right.
This whole
unlimited,
they're running this
unlimited water, unlimited electricity, fuel, not oil, right? There is unlimited oil. That's abiotic, right? But free energy and
rare earth minerals. Rare earth
minerals is a misnomer. Nothing is rare. There's infinite oil. There's infinite water. There's infinite minerals. There's infinite fish. There's infinite everything. The Earth has an immune system. Okay, I don't believe extinction even happens. Okay, I believe the Earth restocks itself from fish
Me
to
too.
humans.
I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Everywhere. And so they want us to believe, oh, humans are bad and we're killing everybody. And, it's worth, losing your home and your business to protect the environment. All absolute and total, complete garbage.
And David Weiss, all of these wars are based on this idea of, like, they went into Afghanistan, blaming it on Al Qaeda, but they were really after what they thought were rare earth minerals. Russia did the same thing.
I don't 100% believe that. I'm sure it's something about that. If they're really after rare earth minerals, they'd go to Antarctica, right? Where nobody is. It's just empty. It's empty and just filled with minerals, right?
Well, but maybe the Bidens and the Putins of the world aren't in on the scam as much as
maybe the Bidens
think.
and Putins aren't, but the people that pull their puppet strings are. They know.
Sure, but then they can do war because they make a lot of money on it.
All of these wars are not about making money. They're about population control and hiding our true history. World War I and World War II to hide Tataria. I live in Connecticut, right next to New York. And when I was a kid in the 70s, we went through the Bronx a couple times. The Bronx was a destroyed war zone. Okay. In the 60s. I'm like, what happened? Nobody questions it. Nobody questions it. Okay. Like, what happened? My belief, and from the evidence shown, is that we are the inheritors of a post-apocalyptic world. We moved into these cities. Like the Flatiron Building in New York City was here long before Christopher Columbus discovered America, allegedly. Okay. I mean, New York City was here. The Capitol building was here. There's actually another building below our Capitol building buried in mud. Okay. And once you start looking at these things, like, why wasn't I ever taught this in school? It's because they don't want you to know that we're not at the pinnacle of society. They want us fighting for the American dream. What's the American dream? Go to school, go to work for a corporation, right? Save some money in a pension, have 40% of your money stolen from you by a bunch of banksters from Puerto Rico. Okay. And then when you retire, you can live another 6 years and hopefully have enough money to enjoy yourself a little bit, when you're too tired to really do anything. Okay. Right. They want you in debt. So, they want you sick and in debt. They want you, if you make it, get to high school, then you go to college. You know how everyone's worried, oh, what college am I going to go to? Everyone gets accepted. Everyone gets financed. Nobody gets denied because they want you in debt. They want you under that gun. So you have to go work wherever and become a slave to the system, right? And they want you using their fiat money. People say, well, they do it for money. Well, why would they do that? Because they can make more money. You got that half right. They make money. They don't make money by working. They make money by typing digits and then controlling us with those fictional digits. So if we want our freedom back, we need to get off of their map, get off of their fictional heliocentric prison and stop using their money. Okay. Then it's over. Then they're finished. They're finished. Right. So here's the thing. Your family, young family, you get together, you have kids. What's the number one concern? Well, providing the man's concern and the women's concern, because they made it so, usually one person can't fend for family. You got to work, right? You got to send your kids off to school, indoctrination camp. Okay. And then you have to make money and then you have to save money. What do you have to save money for? For college, right? Families save for college all the time. Here, I'm going to give people a treat, a Christmas gift for everybody. You ready?
I'm ready.
Christmas gift. If you haven't saved enough money for college for your kids, perfect. If you have, great. Don't spend it on college. Okay. College will just train them to be a slave. It'll teach them absolute nonsense. If there's something your kid wants to do, they can learn it on the internet. They can learn it by going out and having real life experiences. Okay. Here's college for you. And it costs, ready? And there's no financing available for this. $8 a month. Okay. And here's what you do. You get your kids, and you know what? College is a social experience, right? Move out of your house, live with other people. That's what college is about. Okay. And organize yourself and become responsible and, make your meetings and stuff. But the classes are nonsense. Unless, of course, you want to become a brain surgeon or an orthopedic surgeon. Yeah, you got to learn those skills, right? You want to become a plumber. You don't go to college, go to plumbing school. Okay. Learn how to be a plumber. Okay. But I recommend one. Go ahead.
And all of the science, as we know, is financed by government, and they fund scientists in universities to do whatever they want. I mean, that's how they do it. The germ theory, global warming, and anything. It's all, as you know, it's all paper mache. We know
Right.
that.
It's
Okay.
all.
So I want to get back to a couple of ideas. We have seen the video of Admiral Byrd. I think it was in 55 days, 60, something like that. It was on CBS, actually, a show. And he said that he went over there and there was a whole lot of land, right? And the interviewers were really quite stunned by that. And,
He said
um,
there's more land
what do
beyond
you say?
beyond the South Pole. There's more land bigger than the United States, filled with resources that no human has ever stepped foot upon. Okay.
Right. Well,
And then they're like, oh, don't go to Antarctica. We're going to the moon. Don't look over there. Look over there where you can never go.
That's when it started. Did he actually? Do you know how far he went into? Is it 2,000 miles? I've read some of the stuff online. Do we know how far? We don't know.
We don't know. He's a Freemason. The whole story could be nonsense, or it could be them, revealing the truth as they're required to, as they're not allowed to break up free will. Or he could have just been like just another puppet. It's like, wow, look at this. There's more land, and he believed he was on a ball, so he said beyond the South Pole. It's like maybe he didn't know, and then he died mysteriously in his sleep 6 months later after that interview. Okay, fascinating. All these people that have groundbreaking information, and I mean groundbreaking, they all die in their sleep. It's amazing.
They all die in their sleep.
Yeah.
Dave Weiss is with us, Patrick Timpone, OneRadioNetwork.com. So I think it's really interesting what happened in the whole germ thing, because they presented a picture of this germ, which was on a computer, and then they run all of their models over a picture that doesn't exist. A lot of the heliocentric folks that come on social media that I talk about, they start with a picture or a model of something that doesn't exist. So they can come up with math and all these things to make arguments of why the Earth is round, but they're beginning with a false paradigm, right? They're beginning with this Earth that you could then create math to make it work. That's pretty much what they do, right?
It's what what we call the anti-flat earthers do, is they take an observation and they're like, okay, well, that building at 100 miles away is visible. Right. Therefore, the refraction must be this. And they just make up the refraction to fit the globe model. And they just make it up, and it changes all the time. Well, isn't it convenient that their measuring tool changes on a daily basis? So when you only see half the buildings, you can refract it that much. When you see all of the building, you can refract it that much. When you don't see any of the building, you refract it that much. It's all pseudoscience, absolute and total garbage. But we've gotten rid of the whole it's a mirage thing from the famous picture by Joshua Nowicki, who took a picture of Chicago,
I saw that
skyline across Lake Michigan, 50 miles away. You shouldn't be able to see just the very tippy tops of the tallest buildings. Is all you should be able to see. And so we got that. We got a couple of our guys went down there on a boat and got a P1000 camera, zoomed in on it, like, all right, we got it. And they drove all the way across the lake. Now, if it was a mirage, it would have miraged away as they grew, and they should have seen it. It stayed right where it was the whole time. Therefore, it wasn't a mirage, period. Period.
We've all seen the Brazilian video, right? These folks were down there for 6 years trying to prove that the Earth was curved, right? This is what their goal was. And they used sound, and they used light and infrared and GPS, and they conclusively proved that there was no curve. I mean, you just watch that one video, and unless you're just obtuse, you got to see that there's no curve. I mean, these people were very particular. You've seen the video, I'm sure.
I'm not 100% sure which one you're talking to, but
it's the one that's called the convex Earth, and it's 6 years Brazilian researchers. Yeah. They went through the whole thing. Oh, you haven't seen that one? That's a good one.
I've seen it. I've seen it. There is a few issues with it. They throw some truths in there, and they throw some unsupported stuff in there about measuring the buildings, leaning away from each other. They never explain how they did any of these things, and then they want you to believe that there's another pond adjacent to our pond, but it's still floating in space. Excuse me.
No, I don't think you're, and that's not the one I'm talking about.
Okay, good.
These
Maybe I'm
people
the wrong
were very geeky about how they were doing it. They were over geeky, and it was translated into English
one.
from
Okay, different one then.
Portuguese.
Sorry.
Yeah, different one. Pretty cool. Good stuff. I'll send it to you if I. It's hard to find. You have to really look, and then after a while, you can find it. I got to do a quick break. Stay right there, okay?
Okay.
We talk about a few things here, and we'll be right back with Dave Weiss, Patrick Timpone, One Radio Network.
Broadcasting from the beautiful Hill Country in Texas, this is OneRadioNetwork.com.
Flat Earth Dave, and you can see, you can get everything that Uncle Dave wants to talk to you about is flatearthdave.com. You got your app on there, right? You got your video. You can find everything about you, flatearthdave.com.
Absolutely. My app, if you have a show or know of a show that might want to have this conversation, I have a Book Dave link there. All my social media, my short videos, my interviews, my TikTok. Spend some time there, especially if you're not a flat earther. If you are, you probably already have. But check it out because this is life-changing. Patrick, I want to just go back for just a minute to what my point I was getting to before about college and whatnot and the American dream.
Oh.
Is that all right? Can we
Okay.
touch there?
Sure, sure, if you want to.
So, it's there's a podcast that I listen to called Crow 777 Radio. CRROW. So Crow.
Yeah, we know Crow. He's cool.
Yeah, Crow's great, and they put out 2 videos a week, and they're up to almost 500 episodes. So here's your college education. If a person did this, get your kids, get a couple of kids together, get a house on the beach somewhere nice, right? And say every day you have to listen to 5 days a week, 3 old episodes, and then the 2 new episodes each week. So each day you have 1 2-hour course. Okay, it's literally a course. But here's the beautiful thing. You can pop in some headphones and do it on the beach. You can pop in some headphones and do it while you're riding your bike. You can do it while you're lying in bed. You can do it while you're kite surfing. You can do it wherever you want. I swim with streaming headphones on, and I listen to 2X. So I can do my 2-hour course while I work out for an hour while I'm swimming, okay? And I could listen to all of this, soak it in. And then all you need to do is just talk about these things with your roommates, all right? You will have a kid whose mind is stimulated, whose mind is full of useful information that can help them thrive. Right now, people don't know that you can stick a seed in the ground and food will grow, okay? People don't even know that, okay? You can do all of these real world things. That is a person that I would hire before I would hire a Harvard graduate, okay? So it gives you all the information. It teaches you about how the system works, how to unplug from the heliocentric, sinister slave system, right? You'll learn about the earth. You'll learn about everything. And that is better than any college education. It'll cost you $8 a month, okay? $8 a month, all right? I think after your kid graduates, you should send Crow half of the money that you saved for college, right? And that's a bargain, all right? So again, all of the information. College is old school because, hey, you had a guy that's educated and knows all this stuff. Well, you have no way of accessing him, so you had to travel and go to a school where he teaches, and that's how you learn. Now, Patrick, we can just pull up anything. You want to learn math? Khan Academy on YouTube. It's free, right? Every single math course done better than any teacher does in any school, and it's free. It's right there. And you could zero in on what you really need, right? You can zero in on the real geometry, sacred geometry, and vortex mathematics. Yeah, all of the stuff that will make you a better human being. The American dream. The American dream. You have to be, as George Carlin said, you have to be sleeping to get it, right? You have to be dreaming. Okay. Here's the American dream. Enjoy your life. Expand your mind. Learn the truth of our world. Stop watching garbage. The news steers your mind, as I always say, northeast, west, south, steering your mind and putting lines in your forehead with the headlines, okay? And it gives you cancer, okay? The news gives you cancer because it puts dis-ease in all of your body. Where are all of the good stories? Where are all of the wonderful stories? There used to be a news show, I don't know if it's still around, called Good Something Morning. I think CBS tried to put it where it was all positive stories, right? But for some reason, it didn't take. People didn't watch it. Nobody
Very
watched
much,
it
yeah.
because people love the fear, right? And they've
Yeah.
programmed that into us that we love fear and horror movies and all of this stuff. Well, that's horrible for your body. You know, I'd like to see a study of people that watch horror movies and people that don't, and see like how their dis-ease, you know,
Yeah.
is different.
Pretty spooky. Yeah.
Yeah. So
David,
okay, good.
we
I'm
had,
done.
are you finished with that?
Yeah, why not?
That, okay. Can I move up? Okay. We have 15 years of audios on One Radio Network with Andrew Goss, currency historian, author of 2 or 3 books, that he gave me an education in money that I was able to write a screenplay called The Real World of Money that we won several awards, soon to be a movie someday when we sell it, The Real World of Money. And you know, people like this, I understand the monetary system like the back of my hand, only because I listened to him for every week for 15 years. I mean, he taught me
that in
everything.
school. That's
No, you kidding me? You won't learn any of it.
So that's college, right? If somebody wants to learn about money, watch that. Somebody wants to learn about, you know, different things. And the reason I start with Crow is because they cover everything. They have guests on.
Oh, he's cool.
And then you can say, you know what? Someone goes, hey, that one really resonates with me, you know, biofrequencies or, you know, whatever. Right. And then they could go down that path. They can contact that person and follow their website with their information and focus on that rather than putting kids into school and go, what do you want to be, an accountant? Or do you want to be, you know, work in a manufacturing line? Or you want to, you know, be a cook in a fast food restaurant or something, right? This is stuff that will expand minds rather than imprison minds. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Here, last thing. If you're sending your kids to school, your kids, if you're hearing this, call CPS, right? Call CPS on your parents. They're sending you to college. They're putting you in debt and they're teaching you garbage. Do not go to college. Okay. Do not. Okay. Period.
Okay. You know, I find that the most pushback I get a little bit of emails and then social media are from highly educated, college-educated people, really, because I'll ask them, you know, and they're scientists and they're astronomers and rocket scientists and mathematicians. Boy, they're the tough ones. And they're taught all of this stuff, all based on most of it a dream or a fallacy, or I don't know what it's based on.
Not reality. I can show you the mathematical equations that I have an amazing amusement park on an island next to Kiribati. Right, I'll show you all of the layouts, the plans, the calculations, the roller coasters, the forces, everything, and it's all approved and stamped. Okay, does that mean I have an amusement park on an island next to Kiribati? No, it doesn't. It's just math. Okay, math can describe whatever you want it to. Okay, so you know and then the word science also has been hijacked, like flat Earth. Science, well, science, the scientific method, that is good. But they don't, the scientists, astronomers, you know, people that tell you about the Earth don't use science. They use pseudoscience. Oh, we got you know, the Earth is spinning at, you know, all these different motions and the moon is going around the Earth and the moon is spinning around the Earth as we're chasing the sun, right? In this crazy spiral nonsense, right? That's not science. That's pseudoscience. Wipe the table clean. You know nothing about the Earth. You just were dropped here. Go out in the world and experience it, and never, zero, anybody will ever say, we're spinning, we're whirling, we're trolling, we're flying through space. Everyone would say it's a level non-moving plane, period. It's a level non-moving plane.
You're just not. We put a video up on Facebook yesterday, and I'm sure you've seen it. I hadn't seen it for years. It was a 5-day time-lapse thing in Alaska, right? Where the sun, you've seen that one? And the sun never goes below the horizon, and it does this thing, right? And the heliocentric people come on there and they say, well, you know, that's because the Earth tilts this way, and then you can see the sun. But it doesn't even make sense. If we are theoretically spinning around the sun, it would have to go out of sight, wouldn't it? But they argue that because of the Earth tilt, and that's why it works. Am I?
So in June, I moved this to June. The sun is
okay. Let me do your full.
Yeah, in June, the sun is making the tightest circle possible. Okay, so everybody inside of the Tropic of Cancer, which is this yellow circle, has the sun. Look at like where my finger is. Like it's on Alaska right here.
You froze up again a little
Am
bit.
I?
Is that me or is that?
Got to be you because I'm looking good and you're looking good.
Hmm.
You see me now?
Let me check my. Yeah, no, we're fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so like if you're in Alaska, the sun's never really that far away from you, and the sun sets because it gets far away from you, right? But if I'm down here, look how far it is when it's up there, far away, close, far away, close. So in June, the sun goes right over Miami, and it's friggin' hot in Miami. But it's warm because the sun is close in the north. But then 6 months later, on the flat Earth, so in December, the sun goes all the way out here, right? We're having our winter because the sun is far away, right? And it's summer in Australia because the sun goes right over it.
Right.
Now, if you're in Norway or northern Alaska, you're so far from the sun that it never rises. So that's why we have 24 hours of dark in the inner north. And during the summer, when the sun is close, goes around, they have 24 hours of sun because it never goes far away. Now, if the Earth was a ball, you should have the same observations 6 months apart. So in December, in December, you should have 24 hours of sun in Antarctica, but there isn't, right? Well, yes, there is. I saw the video. No, you didn't. Okay, you just heard this 24 hours of sun. Now there's at these stations there's webcams, and we watch the webcams and we can see the shadows moving around. And bam, every day there's 10 hours in December. Every day in December when there should be a 24-hour sun, 10 hours cut out, 10 hours cut out. Mm-hmm. And Jaron from the Jaronism channel, he contacted them and was having a dialogue, and they're like, well, we're just saving bandwidth, and never once could they show us a full 24-hour sun. Now, just recently, again, they're always trying to fake it. They just put out a video, just this weird shot looking at the ground and the shadows, and it's totally fake. It's so ridiculous, but people will be like, oh, there it is. There's your 24-hour sun. Show me the sun. There should be
going on with
thousands of videos of the sun.
Dave, there's something going on with your internet connection. It's dropping out. It's solid here.
I don't know what's going on here. Let me try to get out of that screen. Maybe that's good. Is that better? Am I back?
No. You only drop out for about 10 seconds and you pop back in, but it's happened about 3 or 4 times. Just so you know, it's not a terrible issue, but it looks solid here. I don't see any of my lights blinking. It usually blinks, but go ahead.
All right. So that's my point.
Okay.
It makes no sense on a ball again. So the 24-hour sun, okay. and just to be clear, in the center, inside the Tropic of Cancer, that's the Arctic region. That's where the sun arcs around you because it's going around you on the outside, right? And you can have 24 hours of sun in there, and you can have 24 hours of dark in there. Makes sense on a globe, makes sense on a flat Earth. Perfect. Great. Right? And then you have the Tropic of Capricorn, and the space in between is called the tropics because that's where it's warm, and it's in between the two tropics. Outside of the Tropic of Capricorn, you should have the same thing, but there's 24 hours of darkness. That makes sense on a flat Earth and a globe Earth, but there's no 24-hour sun in the Antarctic. And that makes sense on a flat Earth, not on a globe Earth. Okay. So again, things work in both, but things only work on a flat Earth. And if you think about the word Arctic, if you're outside of that and the sun comes around you and then away from you, it's not arcing around you. You're here and it comes towards you and away. It's antarcing. It's coming towards you. Antarctic.
That's where the word comes from. Huh?
Yeah. And then the Arctic is arcing around you. It's ticking around you. The sky is a perfect clock.
That's cool. Dave Weiss is with us at flatearthdave.com. Yep. I want to get to this because this to me is critical. Do you offer Bitcoin, 3 Bitcoins somebody can prove the
Three
Earth
Bitcoins
is round, right?
300 ounces of silver, 3,000 ounces of silver.
3,000 ounces of silver.
Yeah.
So do you probably know Steve Falconer?
No, the name. Who is that?
He's a cool guy. you'd like him. He's a flat earther, and we've had him on the show, but very intelligent. And I was waxing some kind of concern that someday they would be able to put out a CGI photo that they could then jimmy up through computer AI magic to make it actually, you couldn't prove it was CGI. And he said, no, you can never do it if it is originally a CGI. Is that your understanding?
Well, it's getting easier and easier for them. They have technology now where they can fake human beings anywhere they want. That is
right.
It's almost indistinguishable. I'm wondering if some of the people they show us on the space station aren't even real. I actually think that Obama, when he did his ISIS speech, it wasn't even him. It was a CGI task because he glitched out.
Sure.
And
have you ever talked to photo geeks that know about this? And do they think that it could be possible to fake a photo where you would never know it was CGI, even if you looked at it under a microscope?
Do you know? I have never.
I'm concerned about that because they could someday use that as a proof, right? And no, this is a real photo, and we've looked at it. It's a real photo. That's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at this. This is a photo that was the image that everyone thinks is the Earth. Okay. Right. And then this is a photo of wine and cheese on a table with a view. Okay. This is a painting. This is a photorealistic painting. It's really hard to tell that this is not a photograph. This is pretty easy to tell that it's not a photograph. I mean, look at the clouds. Right. I mean, they can't even, like, could you imagine clouds this big? And I mean, they don't.
It's ridiculous.
They don't. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah. And all this stuff from this James Webb and Artemis and all this, we know this is all CGI, right? It's all CGI. It's got to be.
I mean, it's CGI and fakery, right? Artemis, they just showed us this Earth eclipsing the moon.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So stupid when people just believe it, just believe anything, right? Here's something that happened. We're showing now. This is Saturn supposedly, and this is the Earth. And then literally in 1 second, what happened? Lights out. Where did it go? The Earth is still there. Boom.
Oh, this is a NASA thing. This is
NASA from Artemis. Look, we got there. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. And then we put in photo forensics, cranked up the levels. We should be able to see something. Nope, nothing's there. So that shows you that this is just another layer on the thing, right? And then they can't get their depths right. This was taken a couple years ago. The Earth and the moon, right? Well, how come the moon isn't lit up? The sun's behind the camera. And then here is from Artemis. Here's the moon, and then the Earth is tiny. Okay. Well, how can you do that? If you get closer to the moon's going to get bigger, and the Earth will get somewhat bigger, but not like this, right? What's going on there? They are horrible at this.
They're not even good at it, are they? They're just not even good at it.
Think about this: the Earth is the ISS is traveling 17,500 miles per hour, right? Artemis made it to the moon in 8 days, so they're traveling 1,239 miles an hour versus the ISS going 17,000.
Oh,
right.
So the math isn't even right with that.
Apollo made it to the moon in 3 days. That's 3,300 miles an hour. Right. It absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. It doesn't work. Right. But they think, and they're right, that most people won't even check. Right. Here's
don't even check.
Here's JAXA, Japanese Space Agency, went around the moon. Oh, look at, they got this cool picture. Very good detail. You got Milky Way, right? But this is Artemis. I get better pictures of the moon with my iPhone, okay, from Earth. This is just like a couple hundred miles away, okay, supposedly. And I mean, what shape is the moon? Is it a potato shape? Okay. they want us to believe in floating spheres. Spheres. Am I saying that right?
Spheres.
Yeah,
Spheres.
spheres. Right. So again, 2015, moon, Earth. 2022, moon, tiny Earth. And what happened to the detail? What phone did they? What camera did they use? Right. We're told that they bought a couple $200 GoPros. Right. Absolute nonsense. And then if you look, same trick. Look at this. It's the same thing. Just got a paint job. Okay. It's the same trick. 6 days to the moon, 3 days to the moon. Right. It's the same trick. There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing.
You think with $26 billion a year budget,
$80 million a day. $80 million
do a better job, David Wise. They could do a better job at fakery, right?
Right.
Don't you think?
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolute insanity. They want us to believe that the Earth is too big to see curvature from 100,000 feet, but we can see this spaceship curving around the Earth, right? This is just going out to the Bermuda Triangle and crashing where no one else is there. Just keep me on full screen for a sec.
Sure.
So here is what they say. Artemis takes off, whips around the Earth, goes out to the moon, goes around the moon, then ejects some mass, which will send it back to Earth. Okay, so this is the whole thing. This is from NASA. But no, it's very interesting. Look at this Earth, right? Is this a whistleblower, or they just stupid? Okay, this is the flat Earth map. They're showing us the flat Earth map. They didn't even bother to turn it. Okay, look, this is the flat Earth map you can find anywhere online. This is the flat Earth map. Why are they showing us a flat Earth map when they're showing us Artemis going around? Okay, absolute insanity.
I think they just do stuff for giggles and grins, just to.
I agree.
Just to see how stupid we are, right? Just to see what they can get away with.
Look at this. Look at this. If you looked out on your airplane wing and saw all of this PVC piping and all of these, these conduit and stuff screwed to the wing, would you be a little nervous? Like, well, isn't that going to cause some drag? We go over 500 miles an hour. Well, this thing is going like 20,000 miles an hour. Okay, right? The SR-71, it's black. It's got no paint on it because it gets too hot. It's aerodynamic like a razor blade. Right? And it only goes Mach 2.3 or 3.2. Let's say 3.2. Okay. This thing goes Mach 33. Mach 33. This is a friggin' balloon. Okay. It's a balloon. It's absolute and total garbage. And they want us to believe that, that it's going up there. It's absolute insanity. Right.
Let's do a few emails before we go.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Also, I want to know, here's somebody who wants to know, where do the planets get their frequencies from? I personally think astrology is a load of you know what, and it's true about the moon making people crazy. We know that. We need proper studies to show that this is just anecdotal. I personally feel great on a full moon night, beyond great, but that is because I love the light and blah, 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 the dawn. Maybe it is a frequency, but if so, we need studies. This shouldn't be hard at all to do.
So I used to think astrology was complete and total garbage, How could a rock, 25, 50 million miles away affect my life when it can't even affect the tides, right? But then you find out, hey, these things are here within our Earth system, okay? They're energetic, right? I think they have everything to do with every aspect of our lives. So where do they get their frequencies from? The creator? I don't know what they are. And nobody knows what they are.
No,
right?
We
can prove that they're not what they tell us. Jupiter is a gassy ball that has more gravity than all of the other planets in our solar system combined. That's what NASA tells us. Well, Jupiter's made mostly of hydrogen and helium. Well, hydrogen and helium defy gravity. Okay? So how much hydrogen and helium do you need to make a ball that has more gravity than all of the other planets? Okay? Nonsense. They're just laughing at us, right? If you had a Jupiter-sized pile of feathers, it would have more density than what they tell us Jupiter is. Okay? It's absolute nonsense. So where does it come from? I don't know, right? Why could Mars in retrograde affect us? Because it's part of this living system that we're in. Bad.
And we're all in a system. And I think I agree with you. It gives more credibility to astrology if they're living beings, souls interacting with us humans, right?
Yeah.
They're feeding us, they're giving us information, or who knows what they're
Right.
doing. We don't know. We don't know.
100%.
Let's see. Regarding liquid water, we do not observe anywhere in nature, this is from Taylor, a body of this substance forming without a container. Furthermore, when calm or at rest, the surface of liquid water seeks, finds, and maintains level. How many places of level liquid water are required to form a spherical object? That is an honest question.
Yeah, so when you're looking across water, it's testably, measurably, scientifically, provably, observably flat. So how many segments of that create a sphere? It's a rhetorical question. It's basically, like if you can't see beyond that, I can't help you.
Gotcha. Here's one. This is another good one. Here. Okay. I was talking to my cousins about flat Earth. Their father was a pilot and had his own plane. Decades ago, he took his sons in the plane and proved to them that the Earth is flat by spotting the sun, then lowering the altitude until they could no longer see the sun. He said, "This is proof that the Earth is round." I had no response. Can Dave disprove that? Oh, okay.
Well,
I'm sure I understand that.
No, he's saying that because it's going over the curve, but what they don't understand is how the sun sets due to perspective. Okay, and the sun is a celestial object. That's something above our atmosphere. We are terrestrial beings. That means we're on the Earth. And then there's the atmospheric layer in the middle. Put that all into the distance. It all crunches together. The atmospheric layer from the bottom, from where your feet are, to the top of the air, all compresses into the horizon at your eye level. And then everything just goes beyond it. So a celestial object will go behind it and it's gone. Okay. So let me I can pull up something a quick
Okay.
thing to show you. And so people say, well, why don't you zoom in on it? Well, that's not fair. You can't zoom in on something that's behind something. Like if you're looking across the street at a building and an airplane flies over that building and disappears from the bottom up as it goes beyond it, you can't zoom in through the building. That is an opaque barrier. But this is my flat Earth kitchen. I'm just going to go through it real quick. We're looking at the sun going on a straight level line. Here are some mountains or clouds, the atmospheric deck. It's above it, and we don't drop below it. So now I move the camera to the other side where I am down on the table, terrestrial point of view. The line looks like it's going down. The atmospheric deck looks like it's at eye level, and the sun just goes beyond it. And now it disappears from the bottom up. You think that's the horizon of a ball, but in reality, it's not. This is this is a level line. So I'm down here, and it's disappearing. It's at my eye level, right? Look at that. This is the sunset, right? The sun disappears below it. But if I went up in a drone really high, I would see that sun again. If I can get higher than whatever this is. Is this a mountain? Is this the cloud deck? Is that the atmospheric deck of opacity, right? Here's the sun going down, right? So you can, a simple thing you can do, get somebody you got a 4 or 5 foot fence, person, 6 foot tall person standing a couple feet on the other side of that fence, and you're standing there talking to them. Okay, great. And now you sit down. Now you can't see them anymore. Well, they disappeared behind that fence. Now move yourself 50 yards across the field. And you sit down on the field. The top of that fence will appear to be at your eye level when you know that it's feet above your eye level. It'll appear to be at your eye level. And that person starts walking away, they will disappear from the bottom up. They'll disappear behind that fence as they move away. They're not getting lower. They're just disappearing behind the fence due to perspective.
Right. Yeah. In that regard, I was walking the other day out here in the country, and I saw, Dave, the sun out to the western, about 45-degree angle, right? Like my arm is out. And then I saw the moon to the east, about 45-degree angle, right? And they're both out there way above me. How do the heliocentric folks argue that that's even possible.
Wait, what happened? Tell me what happened. I can explain
so
it.
in other words, okay. So let me put here. So I'm walking and I see the sun out to on my right arm, right, 45 degrees, and then I see the moon. It was a half moon at the time, clear as a bell, 45 degrees to my left. So it's up there, way above me, way above Earth. How does that?
Rose, I lost you. Patrick, you are frozen on my side now.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm now I hear
you.
No,
we're back.
Okay.
Yeah, we're back. Okay, go ahead.
So how does that happen on a globe or on a flat Earth?
Well, how do the heliocentric folks see? To me, that's got to prove that what they claim is wrong, right? Or maybe I'm.
Well, the twice for about a week every month, if you look at the moon in the day sky, the sunlight doesn't line up to where the lit side of the moon, which they think is sunlight, doesn't line up with the sun. So that's a problem.
Right.
Okay. But the moon, the sun laps the moon once every 28 times around. So, for 2 weeks in a month, it's in the day sky, and for 2 weeks a month, it's in the night sky, and it just goes around and laps the moon. So it you can kind of pretend that it works on a heliocentric model, but there's many problems with the phases. The phases should change directions 6 months apart. They don't. There's so many problems with it. But again, the optics of the sky are no way to prove the shape of the Earth. We don't even know what shape the moon is. Now, the moon, as far as a celestial object, looks the most like a sphere to me. But, we can show you that you can see things that don't look anything, that don't look like that. I can show you four moons, and only one of them is a sphere, but you can't tell which one it is. Right?
And it could make it could make its phases on its own if it's a plasma, if it were plasma, right?
Right.
Of course. So, I had a quantum physicist, scientist on, not a flat earther, but a cool guy, and I asked him about the idea of perhaps is it possible the moon is plasma and it's doing its own light, and he said it's doing its own light. I don't know how it's doing it, but it's not getting reflection off the sun. This was a solid, PhD scientist type. He said it's got to be doing its own light.
Well, see, there's a PhD that's actually trying to break away from his programming, and he can't explain it because he's trying to explain it in a heliocentric world. He needs to understand that that's not where he lives, and then he'll be able to explain everything. I mean, it's amazing on the things that you can explain once you understand that the playing field isn't what you thought it was.
Yeah. So when you're starting from a false paradigm, you can make up science and math to prove anything, right? Or to argue anything, at least not prove it. Here's one for you. We love Flat Earth Dave. Thanks for having him back on. My question is about the stars in the southern hemisphere. They seem to revolve around the Southern Cross. How can they do that if the South Pole is really an ice wall in all directions? It seems like if you face south from South America or Australia, the stars would look very different since you are facing opposite directions. Instead, they look like the same and rotate around the same stars. Can you explain this to me?
Yeah. So again, the southern stars are very interesting, but again, looking up at the lights in the sky to describe the shape of the Earth is no way to do it. I personally think that the southern stars are reflections of the northern stars. Okay, and there may be 4 centers of rotation, but there's a whole bunch of different ways to explain it. I don't know which one is right or if any of them are right, but there's more than one way to explain it. The anti-flat earthers that's their favorite one because, well, you can't explain that, then the Earth is a globe. No, that's ridiculous. Like, I can't explain what a catalytic converter does. That doesn't mean my car is a globe. Okay, it's a car. I don't know. I don't even know. I could give me $1,000. I couldn't find a catalytic converter if you gave me 20 minutes.
Come on, it's a globe. It's a globe.
I don't know, but there's on the app, on the frequently asked question page, by the way, which is down. We're having a server issue right now. It should be fixed later today. Hopefully, it was fixed last night and it broke again. there's a button called Southern Star Rotations. Check that out. Tons of stuff showing you how you can see the Southern Cross from these 3 locations, but only for 20 minutes a year. Okay.
Wow.
So here this is a little experiment I did. Look in this reflection right here, and you see how things move in different directions as I move it. Like depending on where you are, you can see the stars in different positions. Like this plant is over here. Okay. This plant is now over here. Okay. Depending, so we're looking up through the sky. I think the sky is
sure,
water.
I see. Yeah.
Right? And so when you're looking up, you're not even looking in the same position. Okay. You're not even looking in the same position. This one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Here's one for you. Steve Falconer is the co-creator of the Space Busters channel, which may be why Dave is not familiar with his name.
Oh, no, I am. I do know who he is. And Space Busters just put out an amazing video that everyone needs to watch.
What is it on?
It's on their BitChute under Space Busters. And the name of the video is actually, hold on, I got to pull it up. The name of the video is called Space Busters. It's called Biochemistry Debunks Religion, Freemasonry, and Chickenpox. It is phenomenal. And it can be found at stoplookthink.com. If you forget, everything can be found there. Stoplookthink.com.
Oh, good. I'll check that out. He was also going to do a video and to show exactly why he believes that you'd never be able to, even with the best technology, disprove the CGI thing. If it is CGI at the original, he said it's always going to be there. So I'm really curious about that, if I can find that video. What's that Stop Look Think? I don't know that one.
Well, stoplookthink.com has most of the stuff that was deleted from YouTube over the last couple of years. So if you want to look into some flat earth, flatearthdave.com for all flat earth, but there's all sorts of stuff from all of the other hoaxes, false flags, everything is there, especially what's going on with the boogeyman since 2020. Tons of information there.
Do you upload your videos there, or is it just what they produce?
It is a compilation. Whoever makes these really good videos, they end up there somehow.
I see. I understand. Here's one for you. I think it's important to note the difference between sunlight and daylight when discussing the 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
Right.
The caustic cup assists in demonstrable evidence with regards to this phenomenon, especially when inferring a firmament. So what's he talking about there? You understand what he's saying?
Yeah, so there's a difference between sunlight and daylight. People say, well, on a flat earth, you can't explain that there's 17 hours of daylight or sunlight, because they don't know the difference in Ushuaia, whatever the place is. And that's perfectly explainable on a flat earth with a dome, because as the sun moves out towards the dome, the daylight wraps around. Daylight is the sky. Sunlight comes directly from the sun. So if you don't believe me, before the sun rises, it's daylight. There's daylight before the sun is even in your vision, because the sky is lighting up. So that's like the backlight of a photographer, the sky, right? And the sunlight is the spotlight, right? So as the sun moves through, so as it's taking its widest track around the Tropic of Capricorn, the light is wrapping around the dome. And I have tons of videos on that under daylight and nighttime. This is day and night right here, and it's showing you on a flat earth how the light works. See how the light wraps around? It wraps around here when the sun goes out to the outside. So this is just showing you, I'm just using a little glass dome, and it kind of does the same thing. That's kind of how it works. And then the coffee cup caustic, that is how light reacts inside of a dome, is crazy. It's hard to wrap your mind around, but then you experiment with these tools and doing this stuff yourself, and you're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. This place is not simple, but go ahead.
Okay, I gotta scoot and do another interview, but one quick one here. This is Leroy So does your guest think that all the stars that they has to be under the firmament, right? Underneath the firmament.
Well,
No?
or within. Go to flatearthdave.com, click the interviews button, watch a couple of my interviews, and I usually talk about it where you cannot see the stars at the size they tell us. If Polaris was 2 light days away or 2 light weeks away or whatever it was, which is an infinite distance, you couldn't see it. We can prove that you couldn't see it, but they tell us it's 433 light years away. So where are the stars? They're right here. We sent up a balloon at nighttime with cameras looking up, and before it left the ground in Arizona, we could see all of the stars. We set it up at like midnight. It was clear night. We could see stars. So as it's going up higher and higher, the stars should get brighter and brighter and clearer, but they didn't. At about 60, 70,000 feet, all the stars disappeared. Okay? Don't ask me how. Don't ask me why. But I can tell you that it's not because we live in a heliocentric world, because the opposite would have happened. They would have gotten brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. So the optics of the sky are a massive mystery. Okay? And they don't prove the shape of the Earth, but they do disprove heliocentrism.
Another quick one just came in. Cindy, does your guest, does Flat Earth Dave have his opinion of how?
I lost you again. You froze.
Oh, internet thing is not
you're back.
helping.
You're back. You're back.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Ask the question.
What this lady wants to know your best estimate of how high the firmament is.
72 and a half miles.
That would be your best guess at this point.
That would be my guess, but I think that it's different. The farther out you go, I think it's different. There's some different things. I kind of think that the sky is fairly flat, right? When you look at a flat Earth, the image with the big dome, that dome is thousands. It's like 25,000 miles high. If you said, okay, the dome is only 72 miles high or whatever, and you put that over flat Earth, it would literally look like a flat piece of glass.
It would
over
have
it.
to be flatter, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't even notice it. And so that's what I kind of think where we live. But it's hard to illustrate that in a picture, so people exaggerate things to just keep you confused.
Do just for fun, do you think that the dome would cover all of this land that could be there?
In my app, there's a books button, and if you go to the books, there's a couple of books that about the navigator who crossed the ice wall, and it talks about like 178 other puddles out there, and there's a great dome, and then these are like energetic domes that cover each one of us, and it does such an amazing job of explaining of taking the movie Star Wars and putting it here on a flat Earth, where it's scientifically possible, where there are these other worlds and federations of worlds and hostile worlds and friendly worlds, but they're all here across the flat plane.
Yeah. Well, okay, brother, I got to run to do an interview. It's always fun talking to you.
All right.
Thanks for being here. And flatearthdave.com, you'll find everything to get his app, right? And the app is it's just a few bucks.
It's $3. It's $3. You have it for life. But if you want to use the friend finder, which is amazing, find people around you and message them and have conversations and video calls now. It does that group calling. It does all that. You have to pay the subscription, which is $11 a month. Okay. No, I'm sorry. $11 a year. $11 a year.
Come on.
And if you use your referral code, you can get points for every time somebody downloads the app. So if you get 11 points, it's good for a year subscription. You can trade it in for a year if you don't want to pay the $11. But again, you don't need the subscription, but you're going to want it, because once you realize the Earth is flat, you're going to want to find like-minded, unjabbed people around you, and the app will show you where they are. And there's people that are getting married, getting jobs, having babies, right? There's all sorts of stuff because the app is using their technology against them to bring people together. FlatEarthDave.com.
Yeah. You could make a flat Earth like a dating site and hook people up and get married.
It literally is becoming a dating site because people are holding meetups. They're meeting together, and every single blue dot on there, we have over 84,000 dots on there right now. Every single person on there, male or female, you have more in common with that person than any dating site can ever put you in touch with. So every one of them is awake, aware, amazing people. And so people are using it like, hey, I need to hire some people for my business. Well, they send out a broadcast message to everyone around there. Hey, anyone looking? Or they check out people's profiles. And person says, hey, I'm interested in work opportunity. They message them direct, like, hey, let's have a conversation.
And I think that's brilliant because I would argue that people that understand the truth about cosmology and maybe germs, or have a higher IQ, perhaps, or a more broad awareness of life, and those are the kind of people you'd want to work in your company, right? I mean,
absolutely. It's turning, and again, you can have like these video calls, and people are having great conversations. I jumped in on some calls. It's amazing what it does right now. Mind blowing, and most of the people haven't even realized that you can do this stuff on it. So it's really just taking off. But right now, at the time of this recording, that we're live, my web hosting company is having server crashes right around Christmas because they can't handle the traffic. So we're upgrading the servers right now, and hopefully it'll be fixed. And hopefully it'll be fixed before I kill myself. Okay,
hey, you and your family have Merry Christmas, and we'll see you after the new year. Take care of yourself. All right. Stay out of trouble. All right, brother. Bye. Bye. David Weiss, Flat Earth Dave, flatearthdave.com.